Hello, everybody, and welcome to POAP Community Call number 17. It is May the 4th, be with you, 2022. Anyway, welcome to this week's show. We are very happy and excited to see you here for another week of what's going on in POAP and everything all around it. My name is Mr. Mojo, and I'm here with my friends, Superphiz, on his lovely audio equipment this week. Say hello.
I wasn't going to, but hello, and I'll see you guys at the end.
No, it's really not that bad. I still want to hear your input on some stuff because we love what you have to say, Superphiz. But I'm also here with JENetics. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Good to see you here as always. In Logic Beach, welcome to the show as well.
Hello, everyone. Good to be here.
And oops, it appears that you have came up onto the stage. Hello, good to see you here. Wasn't expecting you, but hello. Well, I'm not able to hear you anyway. I don't know if that's your microphone, but hello, oops, good to see you. But we do have a good amount of stuff to talk about on this show this week. But Logic Beach, I'm going to go ahead and toss it off to you to talk about how we use DGen in this call and the criteria to get our POAP.
Yeah, sure. So the Dejimbot is looking into the community chats channel right now, and to earn the POAP for these community calls, you need to be listening and not deafened. So don't click the headphone symbol down near your name. You can stay muted, that's fine. So you need to be here for at least 10 minutes to earn the POAP, and you can claim the POAP at the end of the call at around 7 p.m. I'll end the event, and the DGen will accept my list of POAP links, and then it'll disperse them to anyone that goes into the POAP claim channel and puts /claim. But that's at the end of the show it's community call at 7 p.m. I hope that about wraps it up.
Yep. Make sure you stay patient. I promise at the end of the community call, you will have a POAP available to you. Just be sure to, again, listen to us for about 10 minutes and do not deafen the show and do not hop around to different events. You want to stick here and listen and have fun with us. But I also want to go into another topic regarding DGen. So they have actually added some support to Twitter Spaces. And it is unfortunately not as seamless as it is here on Discord, but they do have a little bit of a workaround to help sort of gate the people who are going to be able to claim your POAP in a Twitter space. I'm actually going to go ahead and link the Bankless doc here so that people are able to see it, because there's a lot to go over on this, and I'm going to give basically just a general idea of how it works, and then we're going to discuss it a little bit. But basically, we use Digimbot on here, and it's from the Bankless community, and it allows us to distribute POAPs very easily here on Discord. Well, now they're trying to at least add the feature a little bit on Twitter Spaces in a beta format. So basically, what it allows you to do is, when you host your Twitter Space, you can use DGen to basically put a secret word onto your event. So it'll track the people or the Twitter users who are in your event, and then if you direct message the Dejimbot on Twitter with the correct passcode, you will then get your POAP. So instead of having to rely on a secret word from POAP itself, you can basically rely on a secret word with Dejimbot instead. So it's not the greatest or I shouldn't say it's not the greatest. I should say it's not exactly what we want yet, but it is a step forward. And how do we feel about that here on the panel?
I think every time we run into an application that needs POAP integration, there comes new challenges, right? So right now, at least we have a way to connect Twitter with some integration. I know, like with YouTube, if you're doing a YouTube live, there's no integration at all. So you're left with secret word, which, as we all know, can be very quickly, as we say, hacked.
Farm
or
to pond.
distributed.
Yeah.
Yes. So at least DGen has some utility at the moment. So it's always like one step forward, one step back, two steps forward, one step back. I'm excited for this utility though.
Yeah, definitely. Being able to actually distribute a POAP is probably the hardest part of creating a POAP itself. Yeah, sure, you need to get the art and everything and have it be accepted through POAP, but the curation body at POAP, they actually care about your distribution method, and I have seen that that certain places that you try to distribute your POAP could actually lead to you having a harder time getting your POAP accepted. People who have distribution methods that aren't very good are more likely to not get accepted with their POAPs themselves. And these places like YouTube, Jen, as you said, they're very hard to distribute a POAP. People using secret word, they can get farm. Even tools that are helpful like the magic QR dispenser, if too many people are scanning it at once, then it can get caught up. And I know that has been fixed a little bit. But there's always trying to deter bots from using your distribution links and making sure that only the people who really deserve your POAP are going to who it needs to go to, and it can be really tough. So it's good to see that they're trying to expand where they can actually use their services to help us distribute our POAP. Thankless and Dejimbot.
Absolutely. I know anytime that I submit a POAP that needs a secret word, they always email me and they're like, "Are you sure? Are you sure you really want that secret word? Could you please use DGen?" So they know that secret word is not the best distribution at this time, and they would rather us use DGen. And I wish that there was a YouTube integration. So y'all out there, devs, listen up here. I need YouTube integration on the ASAP.
Yep, there's another bot creator that we actually, me and Superphiz, we spoke with. They're trying to implement a better version where you're able to use it on any platform. They want to be able to integrate into places like YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, make Discord great, make Twitter integration great, and they're trying to see the challenges that are there with that and make a product which is easy to use for everybody. And it was a great discussion that we had with them. Superphiz, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm hesitant to speak. Yeah, it was. It's well, I don't know. I'm not aware how much we were going to talk about this in the call, so I don't want to identify the provider. But they're looking forward to tapping into the APIs of many platforms like Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, beginning with Discord to kind of build a multi-platform POAP distribution bot that adds proof of humanity, which is something not necessarily the platform we know is proof of humanity, but adds humanity checks so we can use that as an anti-farming technique. So I'm really excited about the integrations. I don't know how much time it will take or if it will actually move forward, but I think it has a ton of potential. And if they don't move forward, someone certainly will. With that said, right now I'm in love with DGen on Discord. I'm just looking for other platforms.
Yeah, same here. Especially for us here on this community call, being able to expand beyond just Discord could do a lot for us too. And so that's something that whenever we were speaking with them privately, we let them know that as well, that the people who are able to actually make a distribution method on platforms like YouTube, they're going to be the ones that people like us will go to so that we can have our content be better and use their products to make our content be better. But okay. So Jen, speaking of integration, there were a few things where POAP is being used in their product. Do you want to talk about that with us, please?
Yep. So I saw two this week that were really cool, and both came with YouTube how-to videos, which is great for those of us who hate reading blocks of text. And I'm one of those people. So if you need one of those things that like walks you through step by step, there are two different things to do that. One is by Charmverse. They released a demo for gating content through Charmverse. And so I'm going to copy this link right here and drop it here. Boop. And this is a beautiful, they've got, look at this, beautiful animated video, gating content with POAP, getting started with Charmverse. And then there's another one, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago through Known Origin, which is an NFT platform. And they are now having gated early access sales with their POAPs, or with POAPs. So their reasoning for that is they really want to reward people that are attending artists' calls, artists' Twitter spaces, artists' Discords, communities, so that the people that are early adopters can get the rewards first. And so there are so many utilities that having these gated POAP areas can be used in, and I think these utilities are incredible. I'm loving all of these things that are coming out. And we've talked about, like, so POAP was created, and then they're like, okay, build something with it. Like, what can you build with this? And I'm loving that. And there are several other ways that you can gate content. My family is home and they're playing video games, so you're going to hear my kid yelling at the TV in the background. But if you guys want to learn about more of those things, other than these two very helpful videos that you can go over, open them up in your tabs, save them to your watch history, whatever. You can also go to poap.directory. And in poap.directory, and I'll drop that link too, are a ton of different ways of not just gating content with POAPs, but also different ways of distributing POAPs, as well as different third-party apps that have been developed with POAP. They have the apps for Android, iOS, and POAP.in, POAP Scan, POAP Gallery. I mean, this is... they even have a coming soon area that is brand new. I just saw this on here. I hadn't seen it before. So this website, I mean, if there's one website to memorize for POAP, it's poap.directory right there.
Yeah, I've definitely used POAP.directory to navigate how to do basic stuff in POAP, because you don't use it all the time, and so going there, it's a really good refresher on what's possible or even what you need to do in order to properly create and distribute your POAPs. But I actually want to talk a little bit about the products that you spoke about here, that being Charmverse and Known Origin. How much do you actually know about these products? Because I looked into them a little bit just to get some base knowledge, but is one of these ones that you know a lot about?
I watched a lot of the content on the Known Origin one. That was the one that caught my interest the most. Myself being an NFT artist, I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this through. So I actually watched from beginning to end the entire video on Known Origin. And watching it, I was like, you know what? This is actually a service I might actually start using. So, it's not a very fancy video. It's very low key, low energy. And it's literally just okay, now we're going to click here. And okay, we're going to fill in this space. All right, now we're going to upload this file. That's literally the video. Very well filmed.
Yeah.
But I really appreciated the step-by-step application and the way they explained it and how they showed integrating the POAP into that, again, that gating feature and rewarding people in your community with early access to an NFT sale so that they get access to an NFT, a few days early. It's kind of like that Bright list or that early access list that we've been used to seeing in this space, but using a POAP to do it instead.
Right. It's basically a way to create your whitelist using information that you've already been able to gather. So instead of, like, for example, I've seen some people go on Twitter and say, oh, you want to be part of this new NFT collection? Well, comment on my thread here on Twitter, or send me a DM here, and follow this Twitter account, and we'll put your name on the whitelist or whatever. Well, this is far easier because you're already going to know the address of that person, because they have to have an address linked to their POAP, so you don't have to do any extra digging to get them on the whitelist. It's literally, okay, you own this POAP? Well, your address connected to that POAP is now on my whitelist. And then you can either choose to partake in my new NFT or in my project in whatever manner that they decide to use it for. But it's a very easy way to make your whitelist, is what I saw that being.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not asking them to give out their wallet to another source. You're not asking them to send their email address, which a lot of people are like, I really don't want any more spam. Please don't. You don't need any of that. They're already familiar with POAPs. Everybody wants POAPs. They don't have to sign up for anything. And they can go to the website themselves, and it checks their wallet. If they have the POAP, they get the early access to the NFT. Wham bam. Thank you, NFT, ma'am.
Right. And to talk about the Charmverse a little bit too, I was looking into that, and it seems like they are a all-in-one workplace. So I was thinking like a Slack is really where my mind went to. I don't know this product intricately, admittedly, but from what I was able to view, it seems kind of like a Slack with a little bit extra features in there. Like, for example, being able to use POAPs to actually create your chat rooms. I think that's a pretty good idea, because imagine if you have some sort of POAP. For example, if you had a certain Git POAP, for example, and you know that there's a bunch of people that are on this platform, well, if they have that Git POAP, they can go into the room, and now they can talk about that project, for example. That's just something that quickly comes to mind.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that we've been talking about in one of the servers that we've been in, is how do you easily manage where people are getting access into rooms, especially, managing permissions, managing tags. It would be so much easier if you could just send them a, hey, thank you for completing this, online tutorial, or thank you for completing work on this project. Here's a POAP. And then that would grant them access to certain areas. So,
right, like with the Git POAP example, a developers only section of a forum, you can only enter it with a POAP. This is kind of a very different example, but in RuneScape, I'm a big RuneScape player, if people didn't know, but in RuneScape, on their official forum, there was a high level players only forum, and you had to prove that you were a maxed player, so somebody with a max cape, if I'm not mistaken. So you would have to go and comment in this forum post and say, I'm applying for this secret forum area, and then they would have to go and check your account to make sure that you're maxed. Whereas now, if something like this was implemented, if you got a POAP for maxing, then you could just go in there because it would know you have the POAP. It's just like a very different example, I understand, but that's where my brain went to.
Yep. Yeah, and this is a permanence thing, right? So this is something that's not going to accidentally fall off of your name, and it's not something that, say your Discord gets hacked, it's not going to be removed. So it's pretty cool. I like it.
All right, awesome. So we're still going to stick with POAPs on social media type stuff. I want to actually talk about a project that we had spoke about many weeks ago on here. It is called Reveal.so, and they have announced their beta launch. So essentially, Reveal.so is a web-free social media network that was founded by Juan Barrero, and it allows users to follow others based on their wallet address. and you're able to see the activity from those addresses on a social feed. And the activities that are shown include seeing what NFTs a person owns and receives, as well as what DAOs they're voting in on Snapshot, and even the POAPs that they collect. And when asked about using POAPs on his platform, Juan said, "POAPs have become the go-to receipts of attendance, and everyone loves them." Which I would have to agree on that. And then he says, "Reveal makes it easier to share your POAPs with others." And then this is from the POAP newsletter. They stated that Reveal intends to provide a platform for users to create, quote, create a true digital identity, a self-expression of what we own and what we've done. And of course, POAPs are a big part of that. And so I'm going to go ahead and link this really fast. Let me make sure I get a link that works. Because you know how these crypto websites can be. They have the very weird ends. It's actually making me log in, but this is the correct link here. Here you go, everybody. So you would connect with your wallet. You can go in, you can follow people, and you can see things that are happening to their wallet address in a social feed. It's kind of cool. I follow a few people on there, like I follow Superphiz, for example. No one follows me because I'm not that cool. But anyway, here's what I want to talk about. So this is a social media website that's trying to use POAP to connect us. What are our ideas on how to use POAPs in social media? And I'll allow somebody else to start with that. Or maybe I shouldn't. Because people have to think about it
too. The following thing is interesting. Weird thing. I've had like 2 people that became a little more than just like JENetics super fans. So, POAPs being proof of attendance. And if we start giving these out at like physical events, it could turn out, that like people could actually start doing a little more IRL stalking of you. So it gets me a little bit like, I don't know about this. Just because of it, if it like notifies people of your IRL locations, I'd start getting a little more anxious. But I think it's an interesting concept.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of like using check-in on something like Facebook, You go somewhere and you decide that you want to check in. It's kind of like a pick and choose sometimes. I know I don't necessarily check in. Now, I know whenever I was in the airport to go to DevConnect, I decided to check into the airport. But that was mostly because I wanted to say, wow, I'm leaving the United States for the first time in my life. And I just decided to check in at the airport that's not in my local area. So, yeah, I kind of do agree with you on that, where being able to see in real time where somebody is collecting their POAPs is sort of, it could be dangerous in a way, but also at the same time, you can make the argument that minting any POAP that has a location set on it is going to be stalking in a way. So I feel like in the end, it's really not going to be that big of a deal, yeah?
Yeah, at the moment, most POAPs are for digital events, and so at the moment, it's not a big deal. It's when we start, if you check in at like Disney World, at the front gate, and like all your fans get notified that you're at Disney World. If you're a personality, at least one of these personalities that you could start really worrying about like that kind of thing. But I think for the normal person, it's really not a big deal.
Yeah, I feel like that maybe could be something that could be thought about. Like, knowing that some sort of issue like that exists is actually a great starting place to start thinking about safeguards in that. Because to be honest with you, I never really thought or put too much thought in this could be like a stalking tool or whatever. But I don't think people are going to use it for that at all. I feel like people would much rather use it to see, like, oh, that's cool. Like, they were able to go do this thing, or this person was able to go do that thing. Or, as we've said before, POAPs show who we are, and being able to say, well, yeah, like this is what I'm doing. You know, I went to go see this concert, or I went to this crypto event, or I decided, like last week, how we were talking about this, I went to this virtual wedding or something, right? I feel like that's what POAP is more about. I highly doubt people are using it to try and stalk others. But that's definitely not the direction I was expecting that to go. Logic or Superphiz, is there anything else that you would want to say about this? Maybe turn this away from darkness?
Yeah, we need an alternate perspective.
Yeah, I can't turn it away from darkness. I'm sorry. I was only partially tuning into JENetics comments, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want people to know where I am all the time. I balance very carefully my public persona and my personal privacy, and so it can be very easy to like kind of leak or blur those lines. And I'm not inclined to do things that could cause me to blur those lines on accident.
If you could easily see who followed you and be able to like deny it or something like that, I could see that being a cool thing.
That would be awesome. Like, yeah, my IRL friends are the people who I really know well. And if I could feel confident that that wasn't going to be somehow exploited, then I think it would be incredible. Like, yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah. You know how something like Facebook allows you to only show it to people that are your friend? You know, you can either set it to only certain people can see this post, or only friends can see it, or friends of friends, or you can even be a public post. I feel like that would probably have to be the next step, right? Making sure that we're able to gatekeep who is allowed to see what goes on our feed, or even what is allowed to go on our feed at all. Maybe you want certain stuff to show up. Like, for example, maybe you only want the POAPs for virtual events to appear on your feed. That's an option whenever you create a POAP event. You say if it's virtual or not. Maybe only the ones that are selected as virtual will appear on your feed, and the ones that are physical will not. Or only people that you follow are allowed to see POAPs or anything that goes in your feed, etc. It's definitely a conversation that needs to be had, and I'm actually glad that we sort of brought that up then, because people need to really be thinking about that when making these sort of applications and platforms.
Absolutely. And it's probably not something that like the average person may think about. It was something that came to my attention just because when I went viral on TikTok and started getting recognized in person, it was like, oh, I am getting recognized like around town because over 1 million people have seen my face. So and now because we talked about last show, like I have my face is on Netflix and people have seen me too. It's something that I just have to be more conscientious of.
What are you on Netflix for? I didn't know this. What are you on Netflix for?
I have a whole like 2 seconds on one show.
Oh boy.
And
that's 2 seconds more than me.
2 whole seconds. But in that show, and people have, because of my hair, people recognize me.
Man, that's 2 more seconds than I got on Netflix. What the?
Yep.
God, so that means I got to figure out how to get 3 seconds on Netflix.
Yep. Well, if you dye your hair a funny color, you'll definitely be more recognizable for your 3 seconds of fame.
Logic Beach, I saw that you maybe wanted to say something?
I was going to say, were you an extra?
Yes, I was an extra.
Okay. That makes sense. I was like, did you have a blurb, or what do they call it, like a soundbite in like a documentary or something?
Yeah.
I was trying to piece it together. That's cool.
I wasn't supposed to have a soundbite, but they ended up putting in some audio. So I was like, oh no.
Yeah. What's it called? I want to see.
Let's see. It is.
Maybe you don't want to say it here publicly. Yeah, that's okay too if you don't.
I think I posted it on my Twitter. You'd have to scroll back a little ways to find it, though.
I see.
Yep. Tell you what. I'll DM the POAP team.
Oh, there's a POAP.
Yes, whoever watches you gets a POAP.
Yeah.
It's only going to take 2 seconds of your time, everybody, but, all right. So, Jen, you did want to talk about some more POAP in music. POAP is definitely digging its heels into the music industry, and you want to highlight it. What do you got to say this week about it?
Yes. So, we all talked about Warner Music Group having a POAP, that gigantic QR code on stage for that music concert, and their partnership with POAP. Well, Billboard has now covered that, and they had an actual article about it. So, holy cow, the Billboard has covered the Warner Music Group POAP.
That's like the Billboard Top 40 and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is big, y'all. This is big. In the world of POAP news, this is hitting POAPs into the mainstream and getting us into NFT as a household name more and more every day. And let me see. There is a link that they had in our little behind the scenes document here. So let me drop that. Yes, this is it. It's called billboard.com. Warner Music Web3 POAP deals. Whoa. Look at that.
I don't see it in the chat, actually.
Oh, yeah. I see. I dropped it in the wrong window because I'm in the wrong window.
Oh, no.
Dag nabbit. Boop. Booping.
There we are.
All right. So there you go. Billboard has covered POAP, y'all. And not only that, but now other music artists, seeing how cool that publicity is, are also wanting or doing it. So in Puerto Rico, or Puerto Rican, oh my goodness, I am so sorry. If y'all are from that part of the world, I apologize for my pronunciation. But Anuel AA, I'm going to guess that's his name. I'm going to paste it down here in the main chat. There you go. Has 28.8 million Instagram followers, or 28 million Instagram followers. I gave him an extra 0.8 million. Dropped his first POAP. That's right. So we're going to copy that link. Let me see. Nope. Having to copy and paste links while I'm talking, I'm not that good at it yet, y'all.
Yeah, tell me about it. It's a major chore. I agree with you.
But he also dropped a POAP. Here is his POAP that he dropped. And that is pretty darn cool. So we have other musicians also dropping, and it says this will be one of 68 POAPs in 2022. I think that's what that's saying.
That must be 68 different concerts then.
Woo!
So,
he's going to be on the road.
So 67 more chances to get this if you're interested, right?
He or they. Pretty sure that's a he. I will not assume, though. They will be on the road quite a bit. And then there's also an Australian pop artist, Jacob Lee, who has expressed interest in using POAPs. And not only that, but I did a little bit of fishing around on the interwebs, and they are also a Web3 NFT, music NFT artist. So I think that's pretty cool. I did ping them on the good old Twitter and invited them to this call. So if you are down in the audience, hello,
Jacob Lee. I ended up posting that too. It looks like I had the article up. I actually read this whole article because a lot of the articles in the POAP newsletter this week, unfortunately, had some sort of paywall on them. So it made reading them very difficult. But this was one of the ones that did not have a paywall on them. So I read the whole thing, of course. And he talks about a little bit about himself and how he likes to intertwine music with marketing and how he's always trying to look for new ways to market himself, and he believes that POAP is something that will allow him to do that.
Yeah.
And I definitely agree. I feel like if you're trying to get your name out there in a new way, using something like NFTs and POAPs are the way to go right now.
Mm-hmm.
Reward people for coming to see you. Basically, give them a way to say, hey, I went to this person's concert. Like, check it out. I got this thing for going there. That's kind of what it is right now.
Yeah. I mean, music NFTs are definitely a huge thing that's up and coming in this industry. I think music NFTs are definitely also revolutionizing like music rights for the artists themselves, and taking back ownership and placing it in the hands of the musicians and away from larger labels. And although we were just talking about Warner Music Group, who is doing this massive push with POAPs, right? And POAP would not have gotten this big boost if it wasn't for that article. So there's two sides to this coin on this whole debate. And obviously, it's an interesting time to be in Web3 and to watch all of this evolve. And I'm very interested to see what the next steps in the music NFT area are going to lead to. And I love that POAPs are right at the cusp of it.
I feel like it's easy to do, right? I feel like something like POAP is easy enough to use to where it's kind of a no-brainer. You just set it up and go, and setting it up is really not that difficult. And really, these small artists, well, I don't want to call this, I don't want to call Jacob Lee a small artist because I don't believe he is. But for small artists is really where I'm trying to point my talking point here. For small artists, having the ability to have something that people can walk away from your event and actually have something that's very novel, and that being getting a POAP, that's going to make people remember you more, because this could be their opportunity to have a first experience with something that, if things keep going the way they're going, they're going to end up using all the time. And so now is the time for you to be a first adopter and really get your name out there. And people like Jacob Lee, he sees the writing on the wall and he's doing the thing.
And they're getting showcased in our call, so congratulations.
Exactly. And, if somebody like him, if there's anybody that's listening to this call, if you're able to prove to us here that you are an artist who is trying to use POAPs to either help build your brand or reward people for coming to your shows, please contact us. I would love to hear about that. Have you come on the show? Have you talk about how you're using POAPs in your shows? I think it'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I popped it on Twitter. I know they're Australian, so I know right now is pretty early in the day for them. So I was like, I doubt that they're going to see that in time to pop on
Right.
POAPs. But I figured I'd pop it on there and hope that maybe they'd see it and jump on here. Somebody is asking, is there any chance to have POAPs with sound in the future? And I believe that the reason we don't at the moment is to keep the file size as small as possible. They do not have sound.
Yeah, they have to keep the size limit really small.
Which is also why they are PNG files.
Yes. But okay. So there's a few directions that we could go with the show right now. We were supposed to have a special guest up here, but they are not up here, so I'm unsure if we're even going to touch on it. And I really don't want to speak on it without them, because I do not know enough about it to lead that, and I don't think any of us up here do. So if they are here, they need to get up on stage as soon as possible. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for that, I'm going to go ahead and go over the POAP Spotlight for this week. So, there's a little bit of a theme that I have for the Spotlight this week. And it's actually in the POAP newsletter where they talk about some cool drops that happen on a regular basis. And these are IRL events with POAPs. So the first one that I want to talk about is NFT Tuesday or NF Tuesday LA. And they meet every Tuesday in Los Angeles, California from 7 to 9 p.m. at El Cid. They like to talk about Web3 and NFTs and everything. So let me go ahead. I'm going to post a link to their Twitter. So if you're in LA and you want to have an opportunity to get a POAP every single week, go ahead and follow them on there and you can get more information. And here is the POAP that I want to show for their event. It is the NFT Tuesday LA Gallery. All right, so the next one I want to talk about, still in California, this is the San Diego NFT Friends. They meet monthly in San Diego, California to talk about Web3, and you can follow them on Twitter right here. If you're interested in that, if you're in that area, and again, you want to get a POAP every month. Here is, I believe, April's, if I'm not mistaken. So if you want somewhere to go to hang around, have a few beers, and talk about Web3, and you're in the San Diego area, that definitely seems like something you should do. Now, another place that you could go, Tuesday, they meet every Tuesday in London. And what they do is they build, support, and empower Web3. They help builders. Woo, man, I got tongue-tied in this one. I'm sorry, everybody. Goodness. Tuesday, they meet every Tuesday in London, and they support Web3 builders by helping them through their projects. Ooh, man. It's not hard to say that, but anyway, if this sounds like something that you would like to do and you would like to join, you actually need to sign up. So if you're in the London area and are interested in this, you can sign up there. And this is the POAP that they had from April the 12th that I'm showing here on screen. All right. And so one more that's in this vein. So Crypto Canal, they meet once a month to talk crypto beer to beer, and there's the air quotes there, beer to beer instead of peer to peer, beer to beer, in Amsterdam, Netherlands. And what I'm going to show you is last month's POAP from a meeting at the Duke of Tokyo Karaoke and Cocktail Bar. But this is basically a bunch of people that show up, have some fun, and talk about crypto. But alright, so this one is actually going to go outside of meeting up in person. There was an event that happened this previous week where a whole bunch of ETH got burned. And in Rocket Pool's trading channel, they decided to drop a POAP to commemorate the event, where over $150 million of ETH was burned, trying to, as they say, claim or purchase virtual plots of land. So very interesting how Gwei went over 6,000 to try and claim basically a plot in a metaverse because apes are gonna ape, right? But that was the spotlight that I had for everybody this week. Hopefully everybody enjoyed that, and if you want to claim those again, I put down some links for you to be able to go and do that. Hopefully that's something that everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, but the people who are in those areas are able to go do. But okay, we really don't have much else on the agenda this week, so we could actually turn to the Slido a little bit unless there's any pressing topics that we want to get into. Alright, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and look at the Slido, yeah?
I love and miss the Slido. I wish we spent more time with it.
I know. Lately our agenda has been so packed with content that we really haven't had to look at it. But this week, we should definitely take some time to look at it, I think. So these are questions that have actually been pre-selected for the last few weeks now, and I guess we're going to finally get to them. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to post this into the chat really quick. So here is the first question, and it comes from Panda. He asks, what's the benefit and use case in migrating a POAP from the Gnosis chain to Mainnet? And I think how I would answer this question personally is there's really not much of a benefit other than you make it an NFT on Mainnet instead. I do believe the 0.1 ETH to migrate goes to POAP to help fund POAP is what I'm assuming that's for. So I pretty much believe that's really the only benefit, yeah? Or is there anything else that we can think of?
Well, POAP has purposefully been kind of like unwilling to discuss what the purpose of that is, which is kind of one of those interesting things because it could lead to speculation. But there's no public purpose for it, just an opportunity. If you want to send 0.1 ETH to the POAP contract, then you can migrate. That's essentially all we have.
Yeah, would it make trading a POAP easier, or is trading on Gnosis not that difficult? I have not attempted to do that.
Yeah, it is the preferred way to sell, is to migrate it to Mainnet and then sell it on LooksRare, or when we say LooksRare, that's the EV Maverick.
EV Maverick, yeah.
But yeah, on LooksRare or OpenSea. And so you might, I don't know if this really is a deterrent, but that 0.1 might prevent you from moving it just to sell because it's not likely you're going to get that kind of return from it.
Yeah, I feel like if you're migrating a POAP, then you're just doing it to do it at that point, right? I feel like there's really no rhyme or reason to actually do it other than I feel like doing it. But all right, so we have another question, and it's from Anonymous. They are asking, if you ask for more links before you use the ones you already have, does it screw anything up? And so I believe this is in reference to you have created an event, you specified you wanted a certain amount of mint links, and then you go, oh no, that's going to be way too little for what I want to do, let me ask for more. Do we believe that that screws anything up? I would say you don't want to do that if you can help it. I would say that the best practice would be to you want to pick a number that's around 20% over what you expect, right? So if you expect 100 people to mint your POAP, you probably want to have about 120, 125 mint links, just in case anything happens and a mint link gets lost. Like, for example, I know on a IYK device, if somebody scans your device and they take that link, then that link is gone. And so if they close out of the window or whatever and they can't get it back, well, that's a mint link lost and they'll have to scan another one. So having extras is nice in that regard. But I haven't really seen many people need to request more, at least the events that I help set up. Has anybody up here needed to request more?
I have because of poachers.
People who
Richard says
maybe
that
found
people
your
do it
secret
all the
word.
time.
Yeah.
It's a pretty common thing that people request to get more links.
Is it
Yeah.
because of using like a secret word and it gets out? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gets farmed. We don't want to help.
Yeah. It gets
Also,
farmed.
if you request say 500 links for DGen and there are 600 people in the call, DGen will fail. So it'll just fail. It won't distribute the links that you have. So it's all like you said, it's always better to request more than you think you'll need, and it's hard to predict. So generally I go off of like the previous show's numbers. So for this call, we generally have like around 1,300 people in attendance.
Yeah, we'll probably actually only have about the 1.2 thousand actually mint.
Yep.
And we request usually what, like 1,500 codes or so?
Yep.
Yep, and we don't have any problems. It's definitely better to overestimate than underestimate, but it appears that if you did need more, it's really not the worst thing in the world, right?
Yeah, I think, you know, having more links isn't a bad thing.
Hello, Oops. Welcome back up here.
Hey, thought I'd jump in and say I've requested links before for like events that got bigger than I expected multiple times, and oftentimes when I go to like a physical event, I'll hand out all the codes I have and then I'll have to request more, and no, it's no real issue. Like, I certainly have been, like, if the person's basically asking if their request for more codes is going to be rejected because they have codes like outstanding that haven't been redeemed, that's not the case. You can ask for more and it really has no, if like the amount that have been previously minted, I don't think really has any effect. I'm sure they look just to check, but yeah, I mean, there's been multiple times like either where some people have claimed and others haven't, so I've had some used and some not, or I've like with the DGen situation where I had 500 and I saw I needed 600 and so I asked for more. Also, sometimes the POAP team doesn't actually give you all of the links you asked for. And so then you just have to ask for more. Like I had a friend today who asked for 1,000 for a physical event, and POAP only gave him 500. And so, like, well, he needs 1,000, so he's going to request 500 more. So yeah, that's common.
All right, great. So it's good to know that we don't necessarily have to worry about it if something does go awry. You can ask for more, and things should be okay. But all right, I do believe Dr. Malachi is trying to come up, so I think Superphiz, you're the one that would have to let him up since you have the admin privileges.
I do not show him on the request list.
Oh no, I asked him to raise his hand. I think he believes that the show is in 7 minutes.
Time zones.
Yep. So he's probably like, yep, getting ready to promote my thing, and here he is 1 hour late by accident. But that's all right. We'll just have to get him in next week if that's what happens. But let's go ahead with this next question then, while we wait for that. So here's the last one that I had on the list for today, and it's from Alisu. They ask, what's the maximum amount of POAPs that POAP can handle? And I kind of took this 3 ways. So the first way is there a limit to how many POAPs that can exist? And then the second way was, is there a limit to how many POAPs can be in a gallery, so within a certain address? And then third, is there a limit to how many POAP codes that you can generate for a POAP event you created, or I should say mint links? And so I think that the answers to the first and second ones are going to be probably 2 by 64, right? So 2 to the 64th power if it's a 64-bit, if it runs on a 64-bit integer system, which I believe it probably should be, then it's whatever that humongous number is. What? Yeah. Yeah, some super huge number that, while possible to hit, would probably take many years to achieve. So I mean, so many years the Earth would probably be engulfed by the sun. So it's really
it's multiple lifetimes of the universe.
It's basically you're able to say unlimited.
There's like 10 to the 57 atoms in the sun, or like 2 to the 60 or something. So like, yeah, good luck making that many POAPs.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and give a POAP to every atom in the sun.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
And then
I'll get the petition started.
Exactly. And then the third one is there a limit to how many mint links that you can generate for a POAP event? I would say it's probably technically no, but I mean, I don't think more people than are what is ever going to exist need to be able to mint your POAP.
Also, I think that POAP as like a entity does cover the cost to mint these on XDAI. It's Gnosis now. Sorry, I keep saying XDAI. So I mean, there is like some cost. So surely they wouldn't want to just give you 50,000 mint links unless it was a huge event, like a Super Bowl sized event, and they know it's not going to get farmed.
Right.
You really have to prove that you need that many.
Yep, but it's probably just that 2 to the 64 number is what the limit is, but it's so unattainable that we're never going to reach it. So you really don't have to worry about it. But those were the 3 questions that I had available for us. I could actually pull up the Slido really fast and see if there's a quick question that we could answer, since we do got about 4 minutes, or is there anything else that we would want to talk about? Anybody on the panel?
Since Malachi's not here to promote his thing, I'm trying to get people to sign up for my raffle. I offered a POAP for anyone who watched the James Webb Space Telescope launch last Christmas morning. If you did watch that and you earned the POAP, go join this raffle, because like 7 of the 50 people that watched it joined the raffle. So if you know anybody that earned it, yeah, go sign up.
But all right. I think that we can go ahead and start talking about POAP distribution then, since there's really nothing much left to say this week. So, are we able to do the claiming while the bot's still running, or do you need to end it, Logic Beach? Because I don't want to.
I just ended it, since we
Okay.
have technically 3 minutes, and I am uploading the links now.
Okay. All right.
1,296 eligible participants should be able to. Here shortly, I think maybe now you could try to go into the POAP-claim channel and /claim
Yep.
your POAP. And it looks like it worked for me.
All right. Excellent. So,
yeah.
to reiterate what Logic Beach just said, you're going to go into the POAP claim channel here in the POAP official Discord, and you're going to type /. That is the button next to your right shift and has the question mark on it. Claim, CLAIM, and hit enter. And you should get a message from the Dejimbot stating that you have a POAP to mint, and it should give you your mint link. Again, that's going to be in the POAP claim channel, typing /claim, and you should be able to mint your POAP as per usual. But all right, everybody, pretty good week. It's a little disappointing that we didn't get our special guest up here, but he should be able to talk about it next week, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But as for me, this is going to be a good night. Thank you, everybody, for showing up, and we do appreciate you being here. Come and listen about POAP and getting a POAP in return. I'm going to go ahead and let everybody else say their goodbyes, but take care, everyone.
Good night. See you guys next week.
Bye for my terrible audio.
I can imitate Superphiz.